Special teams, defense, and then offense. Not often a team scores touchdowns in that order, and result, the Nittany Lions demolish another Big Ten opponent.
There won't be no slip-ups. No one won't beat us when they're not supposed to beat us.
Next up, Michigan State at home. The final regular season game, which means it's time to say goodbye and thank you to the seniors. And he's made a tremendous impact on the college football world, all while battling through personal tragedy. We have an inspirational and fun interview with former Rutgers defensive tackle and entrepreneur Eric LeGrand.
Football is really not that many games, but you think about the practices, the weight room sessions, the study hall, everything that goes into it. I kind of now adjusted that into my life.
This is Nittany Game Week. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nittany Game Week. I'm Todd Sadowski, along with our coaches, Jay Paterno and Tom Bradley. The Nittany Lions pound the Scarlet Knights in Piscataway, and we're going to get to that demolition in a moment. First, it's senior day. You guys know this is no ordinary football game, so tell us what makes it so special for everyone involved.
Well, you know, you come to Penn State and you spend 4 years or 6 years or whatever the case is, and this is the last time you're in there. It's a big deal, and it's meaningful to the players and the families.
And it's very emotional because it went so fast. You can remember all the things when you came as a freshman. Now you're looking back. When you stood out there as a freshman watching the old guys go, oh, that's a long way away. And then it's right there.
And no matter how long you're there, it does. That time flies by, those college years. So you're right. Okay, so we have a complete all phases victory, red zone success, and more senior day perspective in our opening drive. All right, so it starts right away, guys. The first phase to score is the special teams, then the defense, and then the offense. It's rare it goes in that order, but what a way to start the game.
Very rare that it goes in that order, especially it's very rare that you get all three phases in the end zone. But I think that set a tone very early because Penn State's offense struggled early on to really get some things done, and those touchdowns really blew the game open.
See that special team score.
Just said about it. We've just been talking about it. You saw it coming every week a little closer, and then last week broke it.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting that he actually ran the ball out, which was really cool because they've been taking the 25-yard line and go from there. And I asked Coach and the players afterwards, how is this team not just beating but destroying their recent opponents?
We're getting better. You know, we're getting better each week. And that's really, you know, your objective is to try to get better every single week at home, on the road, conference opponents, whatever it may be. And I do think we're doing that.
Past years, you know, we've let teams beat us that shouldn't have beat us. So now we're just taking every team. We're coming at every team like it's the championship. So there won't be no slip-ups. No one won't beat us when they're not supposed to beat us.
Yeah, there you have it. Past failures are the fuel for the current success.
Well, one way to make sure you put your opponents away is to be efficient in the red zone. And on both sides of the ball, the offense was 6 of 6 in the red zone. The defense was 1 of 2. They gave up scores in the red zone. And even just outside the red zone did a great job.
But it's all three phases now that are playing well. Before it looked like the defense, then the offense, but now it's special teams are involved. It's when you get all three phases going, it's hard to beat you.
And it's play calling in the red zone, not just offensively, but defensively, to stick it in the end zone and to keep them out.
No question about it. And I think when you look at the total of the last 3 games, you've got 35 points off turnovers, another 7 on special teams. You're looking at 42 points in those 3 games that came from turnovers or special teams, and that's big.
Yeah.
You know, I heard it from a great coach one time. Tom, remember, it takes 3 field goals to beat a touchdown.
Yeah, absolutely. So the red zone and the overall success on defense is one of the main reasons coordinator Manny Diaz is a semifinalist for the Frank Broyles Award as the top coordinator in college football. Plenty of great things in the review of the Rutgers blowout, but as we discussed briefly a little earlier, what comes front and center right now is senior day, and the Nittany Lions have enjoyed recent success in the final regular season home game.
Yeah, look at the numbers. They've won 6 senior days in a row, which is a great number. From 1990 to 2009, won 19 of 20 senior days against 5 ranked opponents in that stretch, and an average margin of victory of 20. Stretch of 9 and a stretch of 10 straight. there's a little extra edge when you walk in there for senior day, and I think you're going to see that Saturday when they play Michigan State.
Not only when you walk in, it's how you walk out.
Well, if you got the Landgrant trophy,
the
you're
winnings.
walking out.
Yes.
You're walking out much slower.
Taking your time.
Yes. The only other thing guys get together to carry that's heavy in college has liquid in it, and it's metal, and you tap it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Most beautiful trophy in sports, the Landgrant. All right, let's get to our scrap metal. And Tom, you have to love it when the defense not only causes a turnover, they put 6 on the board this week. We recognize the scoop and score guys.
That's right. Marquise Wilson forces a fumble that is scooped up by redshirt freshman Kobe King. He returns it 14 yards for a touchdown. Turnouts is the go-ahead and winning game-winning touchdown. Then in the second half, Curtis Jacobs strip sacks Gavin Winsett, and Jair Brown, he picks it up. There's nothing but open field in front of him. A beautiful sight. He goes 74 yards for another touchdown.
Hey man, it was just effort, effort to the ball. Good things happen around the ball, so it'll take care of itself.
Okay, progress though. You pick up the ball and then you score. So pick it up and then you go.
It felt crazy to me, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, the second scoop and score really took the air out of the stadium and the Scarlet Knights. Not often you see it happen. Lightning strikes twice in Piscataway. Still to come, our scouting report, how Sparty could hurt the Nittany Lions with their wide receivers and how Penn State's offense could benefit from some soft coverage. Our coaches break down Michigan State. You're watching Nittany Game Week.
Scrap Metal is sponsored by the We Are In, voted #1 game day restaurant in Center County. Follow us on Facebook and visit thewearein.com or call for dinner or room reservations.
We are back on Nittany Game Week, 12th and final game of the regular season. Last game plan and opponent to worry over for a while. You certainly want to end on a good note before you find out the bowl's destination. Our coaches have been busy studying the Spartans. It's been a season to forget for Sparty so far. Oh, they'd certainly love to spoil senior day at Beaver Stadium. Coach Paterno, Coach Bradley, what kind of threat does this team pose for the Nittany Lions?
Todd, I'm going to just rebuke you. Do not talk bowls until you win this game. Everybody's like, what bowl? You better win this one first. And let's talk about the tip sheet that we would give guys that when you look at their offense, 2 very good receivers. They're going to have some trick plays, some screens. The run game is struggling. They've thrown a lot of interceptions, and they're struggling to field goals. So expect a lot of them to go for a lot of 4th downs. Defensively, you look at it, pass rush is good. They're struggling against the run, struggling against the pass. So expect them to do some things differently. Net punting, #1 in the country. And one last note about this game. The last 4 years, Mel Tucker and Nick Saban have 4 road wins against ranked teams, tops in the country. So they're going to come in there ready to go. That being said, let's get into it. Wideouts, we talked about them. Jaden Reed right here. Keon on the outside, #1 and #0. Watch those 49 and 50 catches, Tom. You like these guys.
I like both of them, especially when they get in the slot. And I like Penn State. Better be ready for them to go up top on this one.
Yeah, and here's one to read right here. #1, he and the quarterback have been teammates since 7th grade, so obviously they're in sync. Here's 0 coming off the ball. They got him down. He's willing to go across the middle. He can go one-on-one the outside. Let's talk about some more things that they do offensively. Now, we talked about the screens. Penn State has been blitzing, very aggressive, getting tackles for losses, getting sacks. And you know, Tom, that opens you up the screen game because the goal is to get your lineman and your back between the pass rush and the coverage. They do a nice job here.
Right here, you start playing your fire zones. Make sure your eyes are good. Make sure your linebackers have their eyes good for the screen game.
And when you're struggling the run game and with pass rush, one of the good things to do is to get the ball to your backs on the bump screens and get them down there. Let's talk some more about some of the things they do. We talked about trick plays. Mel Tucker has always loved the flea flicker. These guys do a nice job coming down, showing the block, and then releasing. It's all a matter of these guys fooling these guys.
Especially if you get a little bit of the run game going and everybody starts getting aggressive. And they do a great job of selling this play.
Yeah, this is like backyard football. You hand it off, the guy turns around, flicks it to you. A little better throw, they got a touchdown. Let's talk about them defensively now as we look at them. They like their safeties to be involved in support. That puts their corners outside one-on-one, and that's a slot matchup, Tom, that's tough.
That's where Penn State's going to attack right there.
Yeah, and you take a look at what they do to a slot here. Again, with the safeties involved, that guy defending the slot there is one-on-one, and you'll see on this ISO here what a nice job the Illinois receiver does, coming in here, selling them on the inside, getting them fooled. Penn State's got to take advantage of that kind of matchup. The other thing that you can do, as we go to the next segment, is you start to look at how do you get their corners to play off a little bit. You stack, what should give somebody free release. And when you motion to these stack formations, this corner's got to play a little softer and he'll bail. And if you're willing to take those throws underneath, you could have a big day.
And here's the thing is, one thing that's going to come up is you got to communicate. I know. Top, what are you playing? Top hat. What do you got? Like up top, they're talking about it.
Yep, and then let's talk about one other aspect of this thing now. Play action fakes. Again, they're aggressive with the linebackers, trying to get better against the run. Good fake here, gets the tight end over the top. Expect Penn State to try and do some things like this.
No question about it. Once again, trying to create some bad eyes on defense.
Yeah. Again, they're coming downhill. They get them over the top, get the matchups, and those have always been good matchups for Penn State. And then let's talk about one last thing, one last element is they're going to get into some third downs. They're good against, they have a good pass rush group. They're doing some nice schemes. It's just a four-man rush, change the coverage, and you see that creates confusion for the quarterback.
Just bogus pressure. You're showing like you're bringing 5. It's just bogus pressure, and they get the down guys dropping.
Well, you talk about bogus pressure. There is nothing bogus about this show, and certainly nothing bogus about Todd Sadowski.
Oh, there's no pressure when you're having this much fun. Thanks a lot, guys. And the Nittany Lions would certainly love to get double-digit wins for the season. If they do take care of Sparty on Senior Day, it will be the 101st career victory for Coach Franklin. So do the simple math. That's because the win at Rutgers is a milestone moment for Coach, number 100 for his head coaching career. He takes some extra time afterward to celebrate with the fans who show up in Jersey. And according back to linebacker Curtis Jacobs, it's his dedication to detail and process that is the key to his success.
He said things freshman year, and I'm just like, all right, like he's a little like he's a coach, like he has to say it, you feel me? But like when he comes in and says that stuff every day and just like portrays himself every day, has a certain schedule that he goes through every day, I honestly strive to get that type of discipline in my life.
And congrats to Coach on hitting number 100. Time to take a break. When we come back, a very special impact interview with an amazing person, former Rutgers defensive tackle Eric LeGrand. Eric talks about his impact on college football, his position as a radio analyst for the Scarlet Knights, and a new venture as a coffee shop owner. A can't-miss conversation with Eric LeGrand is up next when Nittany Game Week returns.
Impact Interview is sponsored by the Pocono Mountains, where small-town charm meets big adventures. Book your trip today by visiting PoconoMountains.com.
Welcome back to Nittany Game Week. Our impact interview this week is a man of inspiration that stares down adversity and fights through challenges on a daily basis. Former Rutgers defensive tackle Eric LeGrand fractured 2 vertebrae in his back 12 years ago, leaving him paralyzed. While he continues to beat the odds on a road to recovery that all of us believe will see him walking again, he inspires others along the way. Eric finished his degree at Rutgers, spends time in broadcasting, and has opened up LeGrand Coffee House in his hometown of Woodbridge, New Jersey. Eric, it is an honor to have you on the show with us. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys reaching out and having me on.
No doubt. All right, so look, your story's well documented, but I want to ask you how you think, Eric, you've impacted college football. You know, your story's been well documented, and certainly there's been a lot of people that have influenced you since then and helped. But how do you think your story has impacted college football in that community?
Yeah, you know, it's been 12 years since my injury, but people still remember that day. And every time they see me, they always would love to like reflect on where they were that day, what they were doing at that moment. And, you know, they've been wishing me well. They're still believing. And, you know, just keeping a faith in that one day I will be able to walk again. And I remember a good friend of ours, Adam Telefero, when I first met him, he had the similar stories like I'm telling you right now. This people reaching out to him, and I still remember the clip he showed me walking back into Beaver Stadium and the crowd going crazy for him. So one of my biggest inspirations right there.
Well, you will, no doubt about that. You know, Eric, a few years ago, I met you and your mother, Karen, and heard you talk about the positive attitude that you bring to every day. As you look at the challenges you've beaten so far and the ones ahead, can you share with our viewers how you attack every day with the mental attitude that allows you to keep winning?
Honestly, it's being an athlete, being a football player. It's the grind, to be honest with you, because I think about all the opportunities that you get to actually play the game of football. It's really not that many games, but you think about the practices, the weight room sessions, the study hall, everything that goes into it. I kind of now adjusted that into my life. Like my game days are my game day victories when I start recovering, when I start getting better. But it's the mindset of being able to work hard through therapy, through those practice sessions, being able to, when things don't go your way, being able to, not accept failure, but fail, be motivated by it and continue to push. Learn how to work together as a team. Learn how to become a leader. All the things I learned on the football field and being an athlete has now shifted into my life. And that's how I attack every day, going out there being the best that I could possibly be.
Hey, Eric, Tom Bradley here. Can you talk about how much the Rutgers family and Greg Schiano has meant to you and your family, and how real is that family ideal in the Rutgers program?
It's true. It's a lifestyle. Forget about me, I love you. And there was no better example of that from when I first got hurt, and we were still in the middle of the season. Him coming up to the hospital where I was staying in Hackensack and relieving my mom for the night and literally breaking down game film in my hospital room at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, just so somebody could be there. And then I would pretend like I would go to sleep so he would go home and get some rest, because I knew he had to be back up and at the Hale Center or football facilities at 6 a.m. in the morning. So, and still to this day, he supports me, and that family atmosphere, going around the team, being around the program, drafted me to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That man, he's my coach, but I consider him family.
Eric, so now you are an entrepreneur with LeGrand Coffee House, serving up, as you call it, a daily cup of Believe. And anybody in the football community, you're going to have to give them the caffeinated version for sure. It's a lot of hours they put in. And for anyone interested, you can order your own daily cup of Believe coffee being shipped to your house. The holidays are coming up, hint, hint. But what got you interested in coffee and in starting your own business, especially during a pandemic?
And during the pandemic, I felt like the world was at each other's throats. Everyone was going at each other, going crazy. I'm like, how can I bring people together? Like, I was just tired of all the animosity that was built up towards people. I'm like, well, what do people really want and what do they need? And I came up with the idea of coffee. And then I said, I got to actually try this product, because I don't need coffee. I think you can tell. I wake up and I'm ready to go all the time. But I was like, I got to try this stuff. And let's just say it's changed my life, obviously, in multiple ways. I enjoy it now. I have 2 cups every day. And it's just something I want to bring people together, because there's just so much that can happen over a cup of coffee, conversations, people meeting up that haven't seen each other in a long time. So that's why I started LeGrand Coffee House, and we are bringing unity to the community with a daily cup of Believe.
I love it. I just love the whole cup of Believe concept. So with the holiday season, obviously it's a time where we reflect on our lives and our families. As you look to your own life and family, what does your family and the experience of your life mean to you in this season of reflection?
They're everything, because all the behind-the-scenes stuff that people don't see, like my mom and handling the insurance and medication, all the orders that I need to be able to come to my house with my nurses to take care of me. My aunt and uncle bringing me from event to event. Now my mom really can't drive at night, so I just literally sent a text to my aunt like, hey, I have an event tomorrow night. Can you pick me up? Things like that. My sister, my brother-in-law, my niece, my nephews, they all know how to be around me, lift me up, and they motivate me. They truly do. And as you said, it's a season of reflection. You just think about how far you've come, the relationships that you continue to develop with them, and you realize it's family over everything.
Your number has been retired by Rutgers, but it will be reinstated on that day when you walk back on that field. When that time comes, what characteristics do you want in the player who ultimately gets the honor of being the first to wear your number 52 again?
Somebody that never gives up, works their butt off day in and day out. They don't complain. They wake up, they come to work, they know what the job they have to get done, and they do it. They believe in themselves. They believe in the man above. They believe in their team and their family. I want that representation to be of me as they think about that and say, you know what? I wouldn't want to let him down, because that's the way I kind of look at it now. I feel like this is my responsibility. People look up to me. They see me as inspiration. How can I give up and let them down?
Such an amazing person. What a pleasure talking with Eric. We had a great conversation with the former Scarlet Knights defensive tackle. You can see the entire interview when you visit NittanyGameWeek.com along with other web exclusive content. When we come back, it is your Pride Picks, how you celebrated the big win against Rutgers and all the fun you've been having outside of Beaver Stadium. We're heading into the final minutes on Nittany Game Week. Okay, Penn State, Michigan State, winner gets the Land-Grant Trophy. Your thoughts, your insults. Remember, Thanksgiving weekend, let's try and be kind.
You said winner gets it?
Well,
let me tell you one time, we won the game, which is great to win the game. I come back and someone put the trophy in my office. I couldn't wait to move it to somebody else's office.
Yes. And listen, forget the Land-Grant Trophy. It's Deer Day this weekend.
Yeah.
So make sure you wear your orange. Be safe out in the woods.
That's right. First day of hunting season. And hey, you get the trophy. That's what you're after, whatever it looks like. All right, players to watch for the Spartans.
I think offensively, we talked about both the wideouts, 0 and 1. Peyton Thorne, when he has time, is a really good quarterback. Can the O-line protect him?
And we got a local guy, Tom, you wanted to mention
on the defensive
side.
For sure. You got a Cal Halliday. He played at Southern Columbia. He was 63-1, and he's a 4-time All-State Pennsylvania player.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to see the local guys from Pennsylvania doing well in college. Maybe not so much on Saturday in the game as much, but what an amazing career.
As long as we get one more. One other thing to look for Michigan State Saturdays, do they go tempo on offense? They went tempo against Indiana, ran 90 plays. That may be a way to settle Penn State's blitz package
All right,
down.
it's not going to be easy. It's a good matchup for Michigan State. They can do some things against PSU. Okay, let's go to our depth chart. In addition to television, we're in the networking business. With our depth chart at NittanyGameWeek.com, we're connecting businesses that support the show with our viewers. Our goal is to build a team that keeps our hometowns strong. And in addition to the depth chart, we've amassed an impressive list of impact interviews. The full web exclusive versions can all be found at NittanyGameWeek.com. All right, we're getting a bunch of Pride Picks in sent to us on the website. Keep them coming, and we'll keep putting them on the air. It goes fast. We've already reached the final home game of the season for Jay and Tom. I'm Todd. Thanks so much for watching Nittany Game Week. We'll see you next time.